morning. I did a little temperature test in my hammock and it is currently 1 degree. It was nice and cozy. I did do a hot water bottle. My Nalgene is still like warmish, but also it was in here with me, so it's probably, it's got to be like 80 degrees in my sleeping bag. But I can feel on the walls here, and then there's like little crystals, and that's my breath because it froze. It's just like a little tiny crispy layer of all this condensation. So yeah, that's fun. But I'm gonna go inside the house now because there's a dog in there that's probably ready for breakfast. I'm going to take you on a little tour of my winter camping setup. As you can see here, our trees aren't quite big enough to be hanging on, or, spaced in a way that we can hang on. So I have my hammock set up on my turtle bug camper stand. I didn't even use the top poles for the tarp because I wanted the tarp to be a little bit closer to the ground so I could block some more wind. And I've got the doors closed on the end here and maybe a foot off the ground. So, just enough for the dog to walk under. And then if I just unclip this is my humble abode. So on the bottom here, this is the Superior Gear 30-degree hammock. So it has a built-in 30-degree down comforter as part of the hammock. On top, this top layer that zips right into the hammock is a Superior Gear cocoon. It's the 40-degree, but clearly that is not enough warmth for a night like last night when it got down to -2 degrees Fahrenheit. I've got them snapped up here just to kind of hold them in place for when I pack them up. But, need 2 hands for that snap. Underneath that, we have Dad's old down army sleeping bag, mummy bag, with this tiny little hole for my face to stick out. That is definitely older than I am. Probably from the early 80s, question mark. So combination of those 2 items, and I went one step further and brought a Nalgene of hot water in with me to keep my feet warm, but then it ended up being too warm. So I kind of just kicked it down to the end of the sleeping bag and let it live there last night. But you can still see a little evidence here. This is a little frosty, so that's where I was breathing on. So we'll have to figure out what to do about that. And here, again, just some more, some of that hot air I was blowing out. But this is what it looks like. This is how I stay warm in Minnesota in -2 degrees Fahrenheit. So pretty happy with that test. And now I just have to wait for it to get colder to try colder temperatures. So I was asked how I kept from getting frostbite because clearly not all of my skin can be covered and protected while I'm sleeping in the hammock with my face sticking out the tiny hole in the mummy bag. So what I do is I wear buff, the fleece one, and then covers my chin, and then this covers down to here. And then when it did get a little bit colder in the middle of the night, I just kept my nose warm like that. So it's just enough that all my hot air is still leaving my sleeping bag. I'm staying warm inside, and the sun comes up and it didn't wake me up until my alarm went off and I had to go to work. So